Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, or maybe Cash Coaches Football. As you know, I've been a coach for over 20 plus years, and I'm probably going to come up with a better name for my channel. If you've got any suggestions, chuck them down in the comments below. I'll be glad to hear them if someone's got a better name. It's not going to be that hard, because my channel, let's be honest, doesn't have the best name in the world anyway. So today we're doing Tottenham against the Burnley. Burnley end up going 1-0 up here. And it's really hard at this time of the season because no one really is playing for anything. As much as Burnley think they're going to get themselves out of relegation or Luton or anyone like that, it's all done and dusted. So, but we are going to talk about this first goal here and then passing the ball out of the back. And it's one of these hipster things now. Of course, when I was coaching, everyone was starting to do this back in 2005, 2006, and it was kind of hilarious because our teams would do it when it was right and we wouldn't do it when it wasn't because we know how to coach football. And now what people are doing is thinking like it's an identity. Well, that's not exactly what you want to do. And over the summer, I'm probably going to do a live stream, breaking it all down much easier in a big presentation, format like I'm doing a coaching course, because it's easier to do it that way than it is to try to do it in a 10-15 minute video, and that way you can go to look at it any time you want. Now, when they're trying to break the lines here, this is one of the things you're trying to do is sucker the people in so you can actually pass through the lines quicker and easier. So the keeper does play a bit of a risky ball. He goes right between everyone here, shumph, straight up to this little wee chap. And what he ends up doing that, he cuts out all the midfield and all this progression. So ultimately, what you're really trying to do is leave the space in behind the back four. So that's the space you want to attack. If you have this lot here back further, they're compressing it and making it harder for you to get down the field. If you can stretch them out and have them press the ball, because someone once told them it was really good to play a high press and nick the ball in their third and then counter-attack and score. So that's what these idiots are doing, right? Yeah, but it doesn't really always work. Sometimes you're better off just having your first line of defence or your striker back here on this line here, so they can't just cut through 1/3 of the field and take out 1/3 of your team, which is what they've done here with this simple pass. So now when he turns, all he has to do is run into the open space that's provided for him. All right, that's really easy. Yeah, that's when it works. When it doesn't work, you put yourself in all sorts of problems and turmoil. I'm gonna cover that properly in a live stream, I think, and actually start breaking it down and so people can understand why it's important to get this space in the midfield here, how you do it from passing out the back, and the real key components of it. You've got to have players wide like this on both sides, and you have to have players deep as well. You can't have width without someone deep, without a striker that's really pushing their line back. Otherwise, the width is absolutely, it's non-negotiable. Really, it's like if there's no one deep, you can't be threatened in behind. You can put pressure on the flanks on both sides. So they've managed to get their shape right for the first time this season, passing out the back the old Burnley, and they're punishing Spurs with it. Now, a couple of bad challenges go in here. I mean, I don't mean like physically bad. I just mean bad in a football sense. He doesn't really go to play that ball out there. Now, here's the other thing. Because Burnley are brave and they've got these three players up here, they're completely keeping the defence back. They're really sort of taking each one of them out of the game by making sure, keeping them honest, and giving whoever's on the ball, whether it be the keeper or this midfielder here, an option to smash it anywhere into the space. And what I mean to the space is because they're so far up on the halfway line. Now, if you're doing this properly, that midfielder they bypass there should be here, and these guys should be 20 yards back, so you can't pass it into the space and you cannot be punished. But they're not doing that. They're all pressing high because they heard it once on a Sky Sports thingy, let's press high. Well, that does work, but also if you get it wrong like this with a bad challenge there, footballing sense, and another slide bad challenge there, you're completely exposed. Now, if you looked and you watched what was going on because you're actually observant, you would have noticed something here. Do you see that gap? Where they dropped, he didn't. This is why it's important to keep your shape and you keep with your back four, because you stop the gaps appearing. It makes the passing lanes harder, and all the angles make it much more obtuse for you to get the ball through. If someone doesn't drop and keep into the little shape, it doesn't work. Your whole shape breaks down. That's why it's so important to keep your shape. But yet they don't. They switch off, probably because they're at the beach already in their minds. And now you've got a problem. I want to show you this, right? So after these two midfielders, and he's broken the sort of challenge from these two here, the defender has to step forward. And yes, he does the right thing, even though it's the wrong thing. The other problem is this guy here. He should be noticing, oh my God, one of my defenders is going. I need to be covering a defender. Where Doesn't matter. If he comes in here, he can push him on, and this defender now can cover this space here. That's what you do, basic drills. If you do these, a lot of times when you do these 2v1s and 3 versus 4s, where everyone is used to covering for each other. So one person ends up pressuring the ball, and everyone else has to rotate and drop and cover, and you have to try to get it right as quickly as possible so you don't get exposed in the space behind. Because obviously, right now, you're thinking, okay, he's going to play this ball here, which, yeah, would be a really, really good ball, but he doesn't. He plays a worldy pass. There we go. That's the little step. And you can see this guy's asking for it here. But if this guy was a little bit more alive, he would have already come back, filled this gap, and cut out that passing lane. He hasn't done so. He doesn't even see it, to be honest. Look, breaks another tackle. To be fair, this guy's done great. He's broken 3 tackles here to get through to the ball to make this quality pass. And of course, that midfielder I'm talking about, he's gone to pressure the ball and he hasn't realised that that's the gap, and it was exposed straight away from back here. Now you can see how important it is, because as everyone's running, he wasn't back. If he was in shape, right, think about it this way. If he was just doing exactly what I told him to do, be in line with these two here, he would have been about there, or maybe in about there, and that pass could never have happened. That's the difference of really high level play, understanding it, and guess what? It's really, really simple. They try to make out that football's just really complicated. I think it's not. What happens at the higher levels, the skill level gets faster, and everything becomes much, much quicker. That's what the real difference is. So that little tiny mistake turns into a massive one, and on this little wee guy goes, boom, and on he goes. Again, because this guy didn't read the danger, those extra 2 yards, let's just say he didn't intercept the pass. Let's just say the pass still beat him anyway because he wasn't, watching the ball or the player. He was doing something completely wrong, and he would have been 2 yards closer. So that would have mean when he moves forward, the striker does here, Bosch goes forward, he would have been closer to make this challenge. When he's relaxed to try to take his shot, he would have been in a better position to try to stop the shot, and he isn't. Quality finish though. This guy's under pressure, cool, calm, and slots it into the net box. He would have got double points if he made sound effects. As we all know the rules of football, if you go wah, you get 2 points. It's just the rules. Doesn't do it, gets himself a goal. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, God, this goal is so simple. If I was coaching on the sideline right now for Burnley, this goal would never happen. And this, you're going to see the reason why as soon as I point this out. One of the rules you want in midfield is you don't want to be in front of the ball. You want the ball in front of you. What does that mean, Cash? Right, these guys are technically behind the ball, right? So they got the ball in front of them. This guy is going to step up and pressure the ball. Watch these 3 midfielders. Now, you can also see this gap here. Do you see how big that is? Bosh, 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 where there's no Burnley player. You need somebody here, and all these 3 have been caught out here. And I'm not, by the way, they might not all be in the midfield. I don't care. I'm seeing it. That's who I assume they are because they're in the midfield. This guy might be a winger. This guy might be, I don't know, whatever roles and responsibilities, however they're set up inconsistently for this. But someone steps up to pressure the ball, and it's just terrible. Why it's terrible is because this thing's been happening so often in the Premier League where people just don't think about the football. What they go is, oh, we're worried about the next pass. Yeah, but the guy's got the football. He's just going to kick it in the goal. And they're trying to look at passing patterns and plays where it might go, where it could go to him, instead of just winning the football. And you're going to see that adamantly when this goes on here, right? So as this goes on, Bosch, in he comes, goes to make that tackle, and all he does is poke it round a corner for a simple 1-2. An old coaching pal of mine said, you can't beat a good old little 1-2, and off he goes. Bonf goes, gets it back, and he gets to run in on goal. But look at this. No one here has started to identify that this massive gap is here. Now, he doesn't score from this gap, but this gap is important, right? I'm going to show you why now. There's a gap, you need to fill it with a player. There's the line. This ball here, passing here, beats all of these midfielders. How quickly do they recover and get themselves goal side again? Right, as we see, he goes for a little wander. He's gone for a little wander over here, and these 2 are starting to jog back. And there we go. Right, so this space here, what I'm talking about, it's now going to appear here because this guy's going to cover the middle of the field. So as he comes back to cover this space, which one of these players could have done, so he could have stayed out there, okay? So that space there is now going to appear over here, and no one is going to do anything about it. Now, here's the stupid thing. He shouldn't be caring about this space here. This guy should be. He should be coming in and covering it because the ball is on this side here. So guess where you don't want the space to be? The side where the ball is. You don't care it's here because this guy can cover it or one of these 2 can cover it. And that's what I've been yelling and screaming at him to do right now. We don't care about this player at all because the ball has to come all the way over to him unless this guy's Harry Potter and he can Expelliarmus the ball over here, or he's got the Starship Enterprise, with that's definitely Starship Enterprise drawn there, and he can get it over here. You do not worry about him whatsoever. So let's just move it forward just a little bit. So we got this Burnley player and he's actively running away from the football. He's going because he automatically knows he needs to be covering the space. But there's the football. If you don't go to it, he just runs and kicks it into the goal, which he does. So none of these players get anywhere near close to this guy at all. Look, they're running away from him, actively running away, giving him this space to run into. Because the space originally was in the middle and they're closing that space thinking that he's going to pass it to this guy here. Well, he's in the Premier League. If you give him space and no one's going to come to him, he's just going to run and kick it in the goal. And so he does. This is defending at apparently the elitist level. This is absolutely shocking. And if the manager on the sideline is not screaming at him to go and tackle him, what are you doing? He should have been screaming at him when he was back here, right? Before the play even got this far. So he would have gone over, he would have covered the guy in the middle and would all be hunky-dory. Now you've got 3 players covering this player in the middle. 3. And no one going to the ball. Look, he's pointing, go to the ball, go to the ball. It's all way too late. No one's still going to him. They're all still running away from him. Absolutely terrible. These are professional football players. Finally now, Mr. I want to run away from the ball starts going towards it, but it's all too late because we all know what's about to happen. As he goes towards the ball, the guy just takes touch and smashes it into the goal. Yeah, it's that easy. All he had to do was go towards the ball, make the guy make a decision. If you got beat down there, at least there's some time to recover. There's something, but you've just given him almost 35 yards to run into and have him just smash the ball in the goal. Terrible defending. And I know it's like Burnley, and I know that, but your standard slip, you become weak at everything. I don't care what you do in life. If you play video games, if you do your handwriting, when you drive, if your standards slip, you become terrible at the thing that you like. His standards have slipped. He's becoming terrible. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, I just want to show you this here for a little coaching moment, just so you can see what I'm talking about, playing the ball out of the back, right? So the keeper's playing this ball here, and he's basically done this kiddie here. This kiddie's only got one pass, which is out here, and he doesn't do it quick enough, and he doesn't identify it. Because he doesn't see that, and the keeper doesn't help him out, they end up losing the ball and almost scoring. But what I want to really show you is look at the shape here that the Spursies have got and what they're doing, right? It's a little bit different than last time, because they don't have 1, 2, 3 players high and wide. They've only got really 1 and 2. And you see they've got 2 players wide here? They counteract each other. It's irrelevant. Right, so one of these guys has to really be in here. And what that'll do is move this guy on a little bit further, and it'll help this guy out to have a pass here and a pass there. But they haven't done that. They've got 2 players out here that aren't doing anything. They only needed 1. And so that's how difficult it is and different it is just from one time because it worked. And the next time you're slightly wrong and it all doesn't work. That's why you just get rid of the ball into the space sometimes. And here's an ideal opportunity. If I get rid of all these lines, you can see what I'm talking about. This guy here has got all the space in the world, right? Because the defender's on this side of him. So he's got pretty much that space there. If he can just play that ball there, this guy can control it. He's got the sideline to help him. The defender's going to be behind him, and he's got all the space in the world. This is shocking. That is decent. And they don't even understand it. They don't read it. Because look how far these Spurs players have all pushed up, giving that guy the space. Yeah, let's just get onto the goal. Right, so if you can see these 2 players here, this guy behind him here, let me just draw a little highlight, a little boxy on him. Highlight a little boxy. He's completely out of position. He needs to be there, right? These guys are on the inside. So if anyone gets a pass here, they can do what they want. He's just too wide, and he can't afford to be because he's got these players up here, right? So effectively they're a player short because there's 3 back here and there's 3 here. You want to be occupying another player, so you've got a number advantage. If you've got 3 with 3 there, that means they've got a number advantage in your midfield. You can't have that. Someone has to read that. I mean, the manager has to read that and see it and identify and pull it back. Now, I want you to watch this guy's body shape as well as the ball's played. He does a little jink, which throws this guy off just a second, right? Watch it as this ball comes in. Watch his little jink as he goes. You see that little jink with a step to do? Just enough. I don't even know if this guy sees it, but he does it anyway, and he just sets himself to make a quality pass. Now, you know that guy I just pointed out was in no man's land? And look, he's just been beaten completely and utterly like a kipper, and the ball's just been passed straight through, straight past him, because he wasn't aware of the guy at all, and he was absolutely out of shape. Now, look, they're running at the back 4 and completely taking out the whole midfield with a simple pass, and no one's even close enough to challenge this guy or the runner here whatsoever. And it's not a bad finish. Let's get on to the finish. What is this defensive shape? Look, oh God, we've got 2 players out here doing nothing, making a picnic. I don't know what they're doing. What are you out here for, boys? What are you doing? Are you worried? The ball's over here. Both of you are not needed. It's just all terrible. Sorry, let's get back to the finish. I just keep yelling at people for being bad at football. It's so simple. Right. There's not real much defending they can do here. They get in each other's way. That's completely fine because they're in a bit of a panic and they're actually trying to win the ball, which I'm not ever going to yell at people for doing. They're trying to win the ball. Well, I will yell at them if it's the wrong down. That's one of the things as a football coach. You contradict yourself all the time because everything changes in football every couple of seconds. So when people say, oh, but you said this last time. Yeah, but everything was different. Last time the ball was on his right foot, not his left foot. You know, he was 4 yards further forward. Everything changes all of the time. That's what the importance is. And you have to understand that. So this guy here takes a little bit of a touch, opens up his body shape, and he slots it into the net box. Honestly, it's a quality finish. Right into the corner of the net box. I'm thinking maybe the keeper should have done a bit better, but his feet are so quick and the way he whips it around, it's pretty decent, to be fair. It's a nice finish. But it all comes down from the midfield not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're 2 yards out of shape. And yes, 2 yard make all the difference. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Coaches Football, or Talks Football, or whatever we come up with in the comments below. Thanks a lot.